here we go then from the beginning. I'm white, playing against Josh at age 8. I opened with King's Pawn. He played the centre counter game, and then opened his flank pawn there up at a6. I think really just to stop the bishop coming to e5, but I fancy just opening up some sort of gambit if he wants to take it. Doesn't take it. Knight c6, attacking the e5 pawn, so I must defend it. Could defend it there with either d4 or f4. I think d4's the way I decided to go here anyway. E6, c takes d5, e takes d5. Now knight f3 to defend both pawns in reality, and he comes with bishop to b4 check. I do bishop to d2 just to depose my bishop. Bishop takes d2. Now I can take it with the queen or the knight. I decided to leave my queen where she is just for now, because she has the nice diagonal here from d1 up to a4, which is quite powerful here. So I just decided to take it back with the knight, and also that defends my other knight in the event of the bishop coming down to g4 there to pin it against my queen. Knight comes back out to g7. Wasn't really sure what the idea with that move was, potentially coming forward to f5. Really is, couldn't quite see what it was, but probably preparing the kingside short castle perhaps. But anyway, bishop to d3, knight to b4, attacking the bishop. Perhaps here I thought I missed actually that the knight could come and interpose. I thought I'd won a piece here with queen to a4, but potentially that's maybe why the knight did come down, but potentially not. But you see here, queen to a4 check. I thought I was winning the knight, but simply the bishop just comes down, or the knight just comes down to defend that knight and also block the check. So must move the bishop now, bringing in. I fancy the trade if she wants to do it, or if he wants to do it. Sorry. Trade goes on. Queen c2. Queen e7. Preparing the long castle, I think, or at least attacking the e pawn there. Maybe trying to bring it out along that diagonal from d8 down to g4. Maybe, I don't know. Long castle, I would think, was probably high castle. Bishop to d4. Probably preventing my rook coming to d1 to put me into a pin, I would think. Does offer a little bit of trickiness, because if I move that knight also now that's on d2, then I'm going to have to double my pawns on the f-file to reclaim back the piece. Queen c5, queen trade, why not? Which was accepted by the computer. D takes c5. Two high pawns up there which are stopping the on-pass-on pawn to b5. Stopping a little of the queen side play there a little bit. Computer decided to try to flank down that entire row, see if they can cause some problems on that side. Anyway, I decide to bring my rook to d1 since my knight's still there. a4 again, still pushing hard there on the queen side. Knight to b1. Feel that if pawn comes to a3 and b2 takes a3, rook takes a3, can't be done because the knight will recapture on a3. It does, however, move the knight away from protection of the knight on f3 and will promote the double pawns should the computer decide to collect. But now the queens are off the board, I'm not too worried about the double pawns. So I think it's the best move in this position. a3, the computer goes ahead with it. b takes a3, can't be captured now by the rook. And again, the computer goes ahead with bishop takes f3, and I must now double pawns. So that was kind of the beginning of the game. There's a lot to go yet. d4. Obviously, that pawn was hanging after that exchange, so the computer needed to push d4, f4 to back up that pawn that's now hanging. The computer could really have taken that e5 pawn, but I would have just recaptured the d5 pawn. I think it feels that there's potential getting that to queen at the moment, so now it's defended by the knight. So anyway, yeah, I need to protect the pawn. So b6. Wasn't too sure whether this was a good idea. I think it just allows me to mop up the rest of the queenside pawns. But c takes b6, c takes b6, rook to d3, just elevating the rook, stop that pawn moving any further. Also protecting the a3 pawn, allowing the doubling of rooks, and also bringing my knight up into that nice wee spot there in d2 behind the rook. But f6, rook to c1, attacking the knight. Knight takes e5. I think this was a blunder. I'm not really sure why I did that. I just recaptured back with f5. F takes e5. I think the computer had banked on the fact that those two pawns would be quite strong, and maybe I would make a couple of mistakes. They might be quite difficult if the rook was brought in behind it. Rook c6. I potentially thought about c7, but I think c6 was stronger. The computer castles. I take the pawn. The computer offers an exchange of rooks, which I'm also almost forced into doing on some square, whether it's going to be b3 or b8. So check with exchange. Knight must move. Knight to d2, which I fancy up in there in e4 anyway. Rook to b2. I was going to go to e4 here, but I think that up to c4 there to fork is probably best. So I move it in there. Rook to c2 to attack the knight. I just take the pawn. Rook to e2, attacking the knight. It's obviously not too much trouble there. I think the computer probably should have went over there and taken the a2 pawn. Knight comes here to f3. So we're at move 31 here. Moving on. Computer retreats now. It's losing down a piece. Pawn structure shattered. I've got my double pawns there on the left, which are going to cause a problem. That's what I decide. I'm thinking, right, you've got to start pushing them. But let's take that pawn first. Rook to e2, back down again. Rook to d2, I just offer the rook trade now. I mean, I'm up material, and that knight's going to be strong. Those two pawns can't do anything because I've pawns on both f2 and h2. So king f8. Now we've got a4, king d8. I just need to get my king over there in time, really. Not sure if the computer really took the fastest route, but I don't think it really had it. I think it got the extra piece anyway. Okay, so that's it. There's nothing more I can do on the king side now, or on the queen side, sorry. So let's see what happens. I was gonna bring the knight up, and I thought, I wonder will I just need it on the king side. So I decided to bring it back, but the computer just goes on ahead and pushes that pawn, which is a fatal move. That's the end of it for him. Now there's nothing we can do. I think the computer was blundering over and over and over here for a 1600 player. I'm not sure whether it's actually really that strong, but I was up a piece, and this is a 30-minute game, so it was under no time pressure. But we play on, and now it's really just, I'm going to get every single queen I can possibly get on the board. I generally don't do too successfully against the computer. I wasn't even cared about losing my knight there. But here we go, so just as many queens as you want, and then it just ended up in a lovely wee mate with the 4 queens. So there we go. That's how to beat the computer on 1600. Center gambit. Counter gambit. So stay tuned. Thanks.